Welcome back to Your Story. Today's episode is extra special because, especially for all you biking enthusiasts out there, because we have with us Arbaz and Wasim, who are into designing and selling custom helmets
Right.
and custom riding gears for
Sure.
all you bikers out there. So let's talk to them and find out what Custom Elements is all about. That's the name of their startup.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Your Story.
Thank you.
So tell us, what is the idea behind Custom Elements? How did you come up with it? And when was the inception? How did it happen?
The company was started in February 2017, but then the idea of getting into entrepreneurship is actually what brought us here. So it was in mid 2016 when I was working as a SAP consultant,
Right.
and I was like, okay, I'm doing extremely well in my job, coding and leading a team there
Right.
in a company in Bangalore. So something was always hitting me. That was like, I can do something more than this. I can definitely do something more than this.
Right.
That thing was really hitting me. And then I started reading about business and more startups and all that
Right.
stuff. Though I don't have a family background absolutely of business,
Yeah.
started reading about it, and then I realized that okay, this is something what I want to do. I want to start my own company.
Right.
Now, okay, when you start your own company, I really wanted to get into. I started to research or in fact find people who are into the same mindset. I started visiting some startup events and also find everything.
Right.
But then I somehow I just realized that there is one of my friend who might be interested into it. That was Wasim, and
Okay.
that time Wasim was working as a manager in Act Fiber Internet.
Right.
And he was in Nellore. So one certain day, I suddenly called him. I'm coming to Nellore. I need to discuss something with you. And I just went to Nellore, and yeah.
So he just comes and he is like, okay, listen, we both are doing good. I know that you are also working. We are fine with our company, but we can do something better.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what? I'm like, don't you think we can start up something, our own business where we will be able to handle it. You are anyways handling our business. I said yes. I mean, that's a good idea. That's a good thought. But we will have to think about what we want to get into. He's like, that you do not worry. First tell me if you are interested. I'm like, of course, business I am in. So that happened. I'm like, because he came and it was all positive. I said yes, we are doing something like that. Let's just sit possibly sometime again and talk business. So he leaves Nellore at that and he goes back to his job in Bangalore, and after a week he gives me a call. He calls me, he's like, hi. I'm like, so are we discussing today? Can we
Right.
Skype or something? He's like, yeah, but I have to tell you something. Like, tell me. I quit my job. I'm like, kya?
That
You
was
quit
quite
your job?
interesting.
I was in fact shocked listening to that. I'm like, is he serious about what he's talking about? We just discussed once and I just gave him my word.
Right.
But that's about it, no?
Right.
And he's like, I quit. I'm like, but then that shock actually gave me a little bit more confidence
Right.
about what we were doing, because the person whom you are almost about to get married, actually,
Yeah.
he's very, very sure about what he's getting, and
Right.
possibly with our skills or abilities, we can actually convert into
Right.
something.
So the idea was basically, see, when you are getting a salary every month and in your thing, and you're so happy about it, then you'll never actually take that step, and it'll always get delayed. So I'm like, okay.
Right.
The day it was, I'm like, okay. I called my manager. Okay, I'm quitting, and he was like, what? Like, okay, and that is how it happened.
Right.
And then so after which when I told him, he was like shocked. Okay, what
Right.
are you saying?
Right.
And then it went ahead, and then I told him, okay, by the time you quit your job,
Right.
let me just research and let me just try to understand what is our common interest and what we want to get into. Though we both were extremely active in our college days into events and all, we thought, okay, is events what we want to get into or something like that?
Right. So let me ask you one question here. Are you guys into biking? Are you biking enthusiasts?
Absolutely no. Absolutely not.
That's a drastic turn. So how did that happen from ideation to actual production? How did you get into the biking
So
accessories
what
department?
exactly happened was, so in my previous job,
Yeah.
I had a friend whose name was Rajaram. Okay, so what exactly happened was, what salaries what we used to get, we could, I mean, okay, it was okay, good enough, but we're like, okay, even before buying an iPhone, we would think twice. And he suddenly bought a bike worth 13.5 lakhs.
Okay.
I'm like, how can you afford that? But we are not able to even, afford.
Right.
Like, okay, and then I just tried to understand about this motorcyclist market,
Right.
and like what they do. They buy helmets worth 30,000-40,000,
Right.
and we like, okay, for 1.5, 2,000 also, we are like, okay, it's too much.
That's
So-
a completely passion-driven market
Right.
wherein money is the secondary part. The kind of passion these people hold, day and night they discuss bikes. That's
Right.
that's the daily routine what they have got. Their friends are bikers, so
Right.
it's a very very closely knitted market. And when we started getting to know, and we realized this niche is not anymore that small.
Correct.
That you shouldn't look at it as a big opportunity.
Right.
And that's where we hit, okay, motorcycling business is the business for us. Okay, it is going to give us some dose of opening.
Right.
We started right from India, we went up to let's say Europe with Google, US, understanding what biking market is actually
Right.
going about. And we realized that there are a couple of things. There are people who are buying Indian market because of the economy.
Right.
A lot of people are getting into motorcycling.
So that's exactly what I wanted to know. So before getting into such a niche department, and especially with your background, you must have done some research
True.
in India, across the globe.
True.
So what were your findings? Like, I got the passion part. It's a very dedicated community who are ready to shell out the money. Apart from that, what were your findings?
Just to give you a small hint about what we are talking about,
Yeah.
India is number one when it comes to world
Correct.
into two-wheeler section.
Okay.
Okay, so around 17.7 million two-wheelers are sold in India alone.
Right.
Out of which 12.61 million are motorcycles.
Right.
And out of which 1.1 million approximately are premium bikes.
This is your research.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we started looking at a lot of researches, a lot of SIAM, these are all the bodies which
Right.
handle this particular market. We realized that's the kind of number we are talking about.
Right.
And when we talk about premium motorcycles, we are talking about any bike which is 250 to 300 cc above goes up to 1600 cc.
Right.
Now we are talking every year around 10-11 lakhs bikes getting added. And
Okay.
let's just say average after buying a bike, everybody is spending only 20,000 rupees
Right.
on each bike. That's the multiplier effect if you want to do it. A biker could spend 20,000. The kind of bikers we deal with can easily go up to, let's say, from 45,000-50,000 rupees to a couple of lakhs.
Right.
It talks about we're talking about their riding gear, their boots, their bike accessories, bags, helmets, gloves, and everything.
Right.
And accessories like small miniature helmets which will go on their shelves.
Okay.
We are talking about let's say keychains which will go on their shelves
So
or
it's
books.
not just the riding aspect, but everything related to a rider is
Yeah.
what we
Correct,
are talking
correct.
about.
So it's about motorcycling.
Yeah.
Passion is not only just about the bike and the helmet and the gear,
Right.
but it's about the lifestyle they live. You will see even
Correct.
their t-shirts are about motorcyclists. They're everybody. They are watches, they are glass. Especially you will see that made for motorcyclists is what they normally go for. So
Yeah.
they have a different lifestyle altogether.
So have you brought in those elements into your designing? If you can talk about it.
Yeah.
We always try to
Right.
do that. Currently, we haven't gone into mass customizing as
Okay.
product. So
Okay.
in our service right now, what we are providing is custom designed helmets and custom designed motorcycles.
Right.
Apart from that, the other big side of the business that we are actually focusing on is retailing of riding gears and helmets. So what we usually get in is, let's just talk about helmets. So we've got bikers, premium bikers, now quite a few track racers, the formula racers also are coming in,
Right.
in the game, and they say that let me talk about premium bikers. I'll give you an example. So there's this now a friend. At that time, he had seen Himalayas from three sides:
Right.
Sikkim, Leh and Ladakh, and this side was Himachal.
Okay.
So from three sides, 3 consecutive years, he had been to Himalaya with his bike.
Okay.
So he's like, can you do something, guys, for me, which can actually represent that, and can possibly show that I've been there. I want to keep it as a memoir, and we had to sit with him, understand where all he's been, and
Right.
then understand what all he liked. So the first thing what he liked about Himalayas is when in the morning when he hits with his bike, the morning sun which hits the
Correct.
Himalayas, the snow, it turns out to be gold.
Right.
And that's what he loved about Himalayas.
Right.
So that had to be brought in
Right.
on his helmet.
Right.
Yeah.
And we kind of, there were 3 of them who had been, we first designed for this guy. They just loved it so much. The other 2 also designed the same
Right.
helmet
Yeah.
with us.
Have you ever had a customer who comes up with a very bizarre idea about
Always.
designing, and how do you handle that?
One of the most bizarre ideas. So a lot of people don't only come for designing.
Okay.
They just come and like, okay, one guy just came out. I wear a helmet, but I feel very hot inside. Can you just think of something like putting more holes to the helmet or something? I mean, like if you put holes to the helmet,
Yeah.
it
What's
loses
the
its.
point of a helmet?
So we have also got such customers.
Okay.
There are some customers who like, I like cats a lot.
Okay.
Can you just put 2 years of cats and everything and just put something here so I should look like a cat? I mean, okay. This is also what
So you have
people
done that
want.
as well.
Yeah.
So yes,
Alright.
so sometimes it gets that way. Sometimes it's pretty much very very precise. You
Yeah.
have this track racing guys,
Mhm.
motorcyclists or formula guys who know exactly. They wear a certain kind of
Right.
gear. They have got their own sponsors and also it has to look that way. It has to come that way. That's a much easier job
Right.
than really understanding a biker, going in his mind, coming up with thoughts, and then putting it on the
Correct,
helmet.
correct.
God's grace, everything is going right. People like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
So what all are currently on offer from Custom Elements right now? What all do you design? What all do you offer to your
Right.
biking enthusiasts?
Correct. So number one, we are not into bike modifications when we break down
Correct.
and make it. We are into custom airbrushing. That's
If you can
designing,
elaborate
paint.
on that
Yes.
process.
So we do only the aesthetic part of it, the
Right.
painting part of it, the
Mhm.
designing from the upper skin.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
let it be the motorcycle
Mhm.
or helmet. So these are the 2 designing parts of it, and then we are talking about retailing, wherein at this moment we've got the biggest range for bikers when
Right.
it comes to riding gear.
Mhm.
We have got, let's say, brands like LS2 which could be at the beginner level and which can go up to Schubert or AGV at the top notch.
Mhm.
We hold all this line for the
Right.
bikers
Right.
in our retail segment. Apart from that, we also have got accessories which bikers can buy for their bikes, like your
Right.
bags, saddle bags, and your brake levers and all such kind of things.
Mhm.
Exhaust.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what they can actually buy on our website. That's
Right,
www.customelements.in.
Yeah.
Great. So a natural question that comes to my mind right now is, how much does a customized helmet like this one right here cost, and how do you go about it? How can a customer come to you, and like, where do they find you? How do they select the design? How do they go about it?
Right. So at this beginning, let me tell you, helmets specifically
Right.
are safety items, safety gear.
Mhm.
So you have to take extreme care of how do you actually handle them.
Correct.
Whenever we do it, whenever we scrape or paint and all, we have to be sure, because there are FIA rules, which we have to kind of
Exactly.
take care of.
Mhm.
So helmet designing can take 3.5 to 4 weeks
Mhm.
minimum.
Mhm.
That's like almost a month. And helmet designing can the cost of it can start anywhere from 25,000 rupees, can go up to 75-80,000 rupees.
Whoa. That's quite a price, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
yes.
a long process. It's a quite
Yeah.
difficult process, and that's the reason how it happens, because it's not only just take the helmet and paint it. There's a complete process. Like you dismantle it,
Okay.
you primer it, you do the base coat, do the designing, then do the different layer of clear coats where you cannot hit. So you have to clear coat, wait for 2 days for it to dry, then again do the next form of designing.
Okay.
So it's a long process, and that's it in
And
success.
what would it be like for bikes? For
So,
customized bikes?
Bikes, though, they are easier than doing a helmet,
Why so?
because they are not safety
Right.
gear.
Right.
This saves your head,
Huh.
and that is more of metal body, which you
Mhm.
can actually metal or fiber body. So you're not risking somebody's
Right.
life, so you can actually put it in the oven, heat it, and bring it back and
Okay.
again paint it, repaint
Okay.
it, start that
Okay.
process. So let's say we start, let's say, a tank designing from 40,000, and the whole bike can go up to can start from 65-70,000, can go up to 2.5-3 lakhs also, depending upon the design.
Right.
Intricacy of the design is the most important part of it.
Right. So we were discussing this earlier. You're not just designers.
Right.
You're also into retail, right? If
Right.
you talk to our viewers about it, when you got into retail, and you're profitable right now.
Absolutely.
Right. So it has been what, 2 years?
2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years.
So do you think your high pricing point is one of the reasons why you could break even and become profitable so soon?
True that, but realizing the right price point was the real challenge that we faced, and being into business for 2 years, it took us quite some time to in fact realize, where do you price it? To be really frank about, when we started this business, we started designing of helmets from 2,000 rupees to 2,500 rupees. That was the price point, because we were trying to understand the market. We wanted to know, do really customers exist who want such kind of customization at a personal level? That's where we realized when we started doing it, there were a couple of customers who came, you are expensive, 2,000, 2,500 rupees is expensive. I'm like, really? It's going to take me at least 15-20 days to do it, and it's going to be with you. You think it's expensive? It's like, 2,500, why I'll sticker it and do this. And we were like, why it is working possibly in foreign markets that well, that we Indians. And we realized that the kind of price points that we were playing were not right. Possibly in Hindi, if I have to tell you, zarurat और शौक दो चीजें होती हैं. So you cannot actually go with such kind of things with utility customers. These are shocking things. These are for the people, the premium people who are looking for something really, really different. And that's where we started realizing. From 2,500 it came to 6,000, 8,000, then it hit 25,000, and then we got a customer worth 50,000 rupees to realize that, they need something very, very personal. You have to give so much attention. You have to take hundreds of approvals before designing them. It's all that which makes it a different business altogether.
So one of the major learnings here was market positioning. So when you want to do something customization or something which is really premium, you cannot put it into a utility customer's price bracket. So when we were at 2,000, 3,000, there was a lot of bargaining which was coming in. But when we are pricing now at 25, 30,000, there are hardly any people who will bargain with us.
And the market, of course, has increased because we are hitting the right market.
Yes.
So that's more like it.
Would you project yourself as a brand specifically for the premium market right now?
We let's say custom elements with its design house is of course premium, but the retailing part of it handles the sub premium, the mass premium motorcyclists, that is your 250cc, the passionate motorcyclists, because we have the range completely for them, which goes up to your 1200cc or 1600cc biker, let's say a AGV or a Schubert helmet worth 65-70,000 rupees. So that's where we are completely getting into the motorcycling market, passionate motorcycling market.
Correct. So when you are serving the premium market, one plus point that I can understand from conversing with you is that they are ready to shell out the money. What are the challenges of serving the premium market?
One of the biggest challenges into motorcycling market in a whole is this motorcyclists are tightly connected to others through different communities. They have different biking clubs and so you do something, you goof off with one motorcyclist with something, some design or something, it just spreads out like wildfire and you get bad reviews and all that. So
and the vice versa. If you're doing good, then
it's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth that works really well in this particular market. So when we started let's say when we started with retailing and we started talking to a lot of bikers, thankfully, because we started retailing 5-6 months back, and custom designing was there from last 2 years. So we knew a lot of bikers. So what started happening is we started connecting with these bikers and telling them that we've started all this riding gear or helmets and all such kind of things. We started talking to them. We have this product also at your disposal, and the word of mouth again started spreading, and the retailing business started to grow. So what we are talking right now, though we started with nil, right now in 4.5-5 months we are talking. Last month's turnover was 4.5 lakh rupees only in retailing.
Okay.
That's a 40% growth what we see month on month.
So moving ahead, would retailing be your primary focus?
That's the biggest business that which we are very, very confident about is going to do wonders, because biking is not in only big cities. 65% of our conversion, whatever is happening on our retailing platform, is from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. That's where the bikers are brewing.
Exactly.
And you cannot have retail stores at those small points, but they need exactly what any biker needs. And you have to create value, and they need information. What is really good, because every other day, right from China, US, Taiwan, a new product is coming. Nobody knows why do you need that. Do the utility of that product is really good. So there needs to be somebody who needs to give confidence, tell them, you are a biker on adventure tour. You don't need this. You need this, buy this. And if you are good enough with him, if you talk true to him, I don't see a biker leaving you anytime soon.
Yeah, but then speaking about our major focus, yes, we are getting into retailing and getting into this stuff. But our major aim, our final aim, what we have is getting into production. That is coming up with products especially made for motorcyclists.
That would cover what kind of products are you aiming at?
As simple as motorcyclists, when they are passionate about, they would like their wallpapers on their walls, everything. They would like keychains, merchandise, all that section. Apart from it, the accessories for motorcycles, like for the handlebars, what they have, and the mobile holders and all. So there is one particular section which is called the mass premium, what we call it. That is a section which includes Royal Enfields and KTMs. So currently in the market, what is happening is there is the cheap Chinese products, and those are the ones which are imported. The cheap Chinese products, like for example, a mobile holder. A mobile holder will cost you somewhere around 600-700 bucks. Is a cheap Chinese one, and the one which is imported will cost you somewhere around 4,000-5,000 rupees.
Typically from US or European market.
Yes.
So there is a sweet point. Let's say a KTM biker wouldn't want that 650 rupee item. And not goes well with his bike. Let's say 4,500-5,000 rupee mobile holder will be too much for him. So there is this particular market which is that mass premium section where let's say a mobile holder which is worth around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees would be just perfect for him.
The balance.
And that's where the majority of market is right now.
So do you think partnering up with all of these dedicated motorcycling communities or these groups would help you in the future?
Oh, absolutely.
Are there plans for that?
Absolutely. That's a really, the turnout or let's say the people entering these bike groups, that a lot of bikers are getting into this communities because they have that feeling, that brotherhood feeling of biking together and all. So yes, the groups are, let's say there are like thousands of groups which are now brewing in India, and connecting with them, letting them know that they can avail the best of the products and items and the right items through us would be just
in fact there are few biking clubs already writing mails to us. They want to collaborate with us and everything. Recently we just received last week another mail where 3 friends they are going across Bhutan and all this traveling, where they want to collaborate with us basically. So for this merchandise and for riding gear, and so we see a huge opportunity there with tying up with motorcycling groups in future.
So a lot of work that happens in and around custom elements has design at the core of it. Art, creativity, design. Tell us about that a bit, like who takes care of it, the aesthetics, the qualities. How do you ensure it's of the same standard,
Yeah, so how does it happen is we have various artists, and as I told you that artists are, there might be hundreds and thousands of artists, out of which only few are airbrush artists, so once we have this airbrush artist around with us, what we normally do, a process normally is when a customer comes to us, we try to understand his personality, try to understand his needs, and then we form a design, Once this design is formed, it is then taken into a computer rendering. This computer rendering is then shown to the customer, and once he's satisfied that this is how it's going to look, and we say like it's going to like 80 to 90% is going to look the same, but since it's handwork, it might change a little bit. And then Once that is done, the artists start executing it.
Right.
And once they start executing it, I personally take care that it is to a certain same quality where the finish should not take place. Should not be different, because
Right.
the finish should be, if someone is paying a premium, he expects a premium finish.
Right.
Okay.
So this is great work, guys. What you guys are doing is
Thanks so
basically
much.
curating an entire place where all the biking enthusiasts can go and just like look out for elements that they are looking for. So if you could tell them where they can reach you at, website or place, wherever.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Guys, so visit www.customelements.in. We have a huge range of riding gear and accessories for you. Along with that, you can reach out to us on 90666 94591. Call us. We are there to help. We are there to
Answer all your queries. Apart from there, social media for Custom Elements is always there. You can just follow us there and see a lot of work on bikes, helmets, and what new products are coming currently for bikers.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.